Nichi with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's Ocean Affairs Minister has said that Chinese actions near the outlying islands of Jinmen have triggered panic. That's after the Chinese Coast Guard intercepted and boarded a Taiwan tourist boat. Rick Lauert brings us the latest from Jinmen.
This small Taiwan island of Jinmen is just kilometers from the Chinese coast, and it's now become the center of quickly escalating tensions between Taipei and Beijing. On Monday, a tourist vessel from here carrying Taiwan tourists was intercepted and boarded by a Chinese Coast Guard vessel. The Chinese Coast Guard spent about half an hour checking documents of some people on board before they let it go. Now, the tourists on board that ship have told local media that they were rattled by the incident, that they feared they would be taken to China, and the Ocean Affairs Council Minister here has said that the incident triggered panic. Now, China has said that it will be enforcing its own maritime law and upping its patrols in this region following the death of 2 Chinese citizens in Taiwan's waters. The relatives of some of those citizens have just arrived in Jinmen today. Relations between Beijing and Taipei have been deteriorating for years as China ups its claims of sovereignty over Taiwan, and Taiwan remains steadfast that it will defend itself against Chinese aggression. An incident like the one that took place on Monday, that is a Chinese vessel accosting a Taiwan vessel, has been flagged as a security concern by the Taiwan authorities. It's a way that China can put pressure on Taiwan to accept its claims. For now, the people here in Jinmen, as well as Taiwan's leaders in the capital Taipei, will be bracing themselves that this situation does not escalate further. Karma Xu, Pichi Zhuang and Rick Lauert in Jinmen for TaiwanPlus.
Real wages in Taiwan slumped by just over 1% last year, the biggest drop in over a decade. With the price of goods continuing to rise, Sally Yenton looks at how people are taking the news.
Shopping for some popular food items in Taiwan. But for many, the price of basic goods here is becoming unaffordable.
就是买东西还是会有点感觉到，就是东西有在涨，但是比如说像之前那个蛋价涨了之后就没有再掉回去过了。
钱变薄了，对，钱变薄了。
那你会改变你在买什么东西，还是？
就是外食可能就会想要减少外食的机会这样子。
我有觉得外面的那个餐厅吃饭变蛮贵的，然后菜其实有稍微涨价，所以如果是领基本工资的话，我觉得是应该生活会蛮困难的。
The unit price of this popular brand of root beer is set to increase by around 25%. And while food items getting more expensive is a trend being seen around the world, here in Taiwan, real wages have not kept up with price increases. On Monday, the country's Budget and Statistics Office announced last year's monthly wage figures for the industrial and service sectors, together the biggest employers in Taiwan. Real earnings for both regular wages and non-regular wages, such as part-time pay and bonuses, totaled around $1,695 in 2023, down 1.04% from the previous year, the first decline in 7 years and the largest in 11. That's while the country saw its consumer price index rise 2.5% year on year, the second highest in 15 years. Rapid increase in food prices have been one of the main drivers of inflation around the world in the last few years. And that's in line with what the government here in Taiwan is saying.
那这个部分呢，最主要当然是受到全球景气，就是经济因素的影响，还有同期物价因素的影响。
Salary adjustment statistics set to be released in May will show whether employers are raising wages in line with price increases. Seeing wages bounce back and consumer prices moderate will be on many shoppers' wish list. Scott Huang and Sally Yenson for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Navy says human error is not to blame for the deaths of 3 submariners in an accident last year. A wave swept the 3 from the deck of their submarine in December. They had been trying to retrieve a buoy that had come loose from the submarine. The Navy says the captain's order to retrieve the buoy was the right decision. It says environmental factors and problems with the crew's equipment are to blame, and the captain won't be punished. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet is threatening harsh penalties for influencers who film fake content in his country.
ហើយសូមពមៀនដល់អ្នកផ្សេងទៀតដែលយកប្រទេសកម្ពុជាធ្វើជា កន្លែងអាជីវកម្មដើម្បីបាន view បានអីរូបភាពបែបនេះណាគឺនឹងអនុវត្តច្បាប់ឲ្យម៉ឺងម៉ាត់អនុវត្តជាប់គុក2ឆ្នាំហើយចេញទៅបដិញចេញពីប្រទេសឲ្យ blacklist ឈប់ឲ្យចូលស្រុកខ្មែរមួយជីវិត
It comes days after the country sentenced a pair of Taiwanese live streamers to 2 years in jail for producing videos of alleged human trafficking in Cambodia. Minette made the comments at the opening of a Chinese-funded bridge construction project. Taiwan's newly elected lawmakers held their first session, which opened with heated clashes between the two main parties. Tiffany Wong brings us the latest from the legislature.
Today is the opening session of Taiwan's new legislature, where no party now holds a majority. And it didn't take long for representatives from the main opposition Kuomintang to call out the Democratic Progressive Party, this time over samples of pork. The pork, which is from a state-owned company, were found to have traces of a banned leanness-enhancing drug. The protest delayed a report by the premier. The KMT has made protecting Taiwan's food industries, especially pork, a major part of its platform in recent years. It previously covered the legislature in pig guts in protest against the import of pork from the U.S. Back then, the DPP held a legislative majority. But now, with no party being able to dictate proceedings, lawmaking for the next 4 years may well turn out to be even more contentious. Alex Chen and Tiffany Wong in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's semiconductor sector could do even better than previously expected this year. According to the Industrial Technology Research Institute, the sector's production value is projected to reach $160 billion in 2024, a record high. The figure is up from the Institute's $151 billion forecast from last November. The Institute says demand for AI and high-performance computing applications is behind the optimistic prediction. China's challenger to Airbus and Boeing's passenger jets has taken center stage at the Singapore Airshow. Jaime Ocon is in Singapore with the details.
After more than 4 years, Asia's largest defense and aviation expo, the Singapore Airshow, is back in full swing. Now, this event was long postponed due to COVID pandemic restrictions, but now dozens of aircraft are back here on display. Everything from helicopters to private jets to military aircraft and even commercial airliners. Now, the goal of the Airshow is to showcase the latest developments in aviation and defense. And for the first time, China is showing off its latest tech. Front and center at the expo is the C919, China's first indigenously developed narrow-body aircraft. Those are the most common types of airplanes used for commercial flights. Representatives from China are declining to talk to the media about the C919 at this event. But other countries like the U.S. are trying to show off their advancements in defense tech and attract potential partnerships as they make up for years without a show here.
We're really excited to be here in Singapore. I wasn't able to come obviously during COVID, as many people, and now that we're all back and going to shows like this and working with many countries and many other folks around the Asia-Pacific area.
The expo is set to last for 5 days. Industry leaders here are looking forward to catching up in the latest developments of military tech and aviation. But many people here are just happy to see their favorite planes take to the sky back again. Chris Ma and Jaime Ocon in Singapore for TaiwanPlus.
A care center in rural Taiwan is helping the country's rapidly aging population live happy, active lives. John Van Triest has a look.
It's exercise time at this new senior care center in rural Yunlin County. Up to 48 seniors from the area can get assistance here during the day, and even more can join its activities for a bit of company. There's even pickup service. The newly opened center is already making a difference in people's lives. Taiwan has the second lowest birth rate in the world and a rapidly aging population. The trend's effects are on full display in Taiwan's rural center. In 2022, Yunlin County had the lowest number of births in the country. Despite this, elderly care options in the county remain limited. This new center helps solve these problems in the 3 rural townships it serves. It aims to keep those who come here as active as possible and provide engaging activities like art projects.
他们能够就是手部灵活，然后脑就是可以动一下脑，因为我们像包括我们的颜色上面啊，他们因为有些时候眼视力会退化，所以我们会利用颜色上刺激他们的视力。
The center has also brought new life to a disused historic building.
后来就这个地方就比较没有在使用。那时候我跟他们的家人，然后在洽谈，就是说希望这个地方可以提供一个很好的一个环境给地方上的长辈。
It's a vision for what other parts of Taiwan can do to keep their aging populations living active, healthy, and fulfilling lives. Delphine Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's aging population doesn't only apply to humans. It's also hitting the country's pets, and animal shelters are struggling to cope with their long-term care of their elderly residents, as Reese Ayres reports.
With limited mobility and suffering from dementia, 16-year-old Lilu eats mush through a syringe, just one of dozens of animals in need of constant care, living at this government-run shelter in New Taipei.
他如果躺着的时候，我们会帮他，就是手啊、脚啊稍微动一下。每天是要帮他挤尿。
Just like their human counterparts, Taiwan's pets are facing a crisis of age, as fewer caregivers try to cater to a growing number of animals requiring long-term care.
一般的动物跟需要长照的动物其实很大的区别就是它的活动力其实会下降。我觉得比较难照顾的大部分就是后躯瘫痪或者是卧床的动物，需要帮它翻身啊，或者是让它起来，至少坐轮椅稍微活动一下。
Staff at this shelter, one of just 8 such government-run shelters in a city that's home to over 300,000 pets, craft their own solutions to their residents' needs, such as homemade wheelchairs for animals with mobility issues and collision guards for pets with visual impairments. But scarce resources limit how much help staff can give on site.
人力有办法做到的部分，其实我们会尽力去做。需要进一步做到医疗打点滴或者是插鼻胃管那些，我们会后送到动保处去做进一步的医疗。
To help cope with an aging pet population, the New Taipei Animal Protection Office is planning to build a municipal long-term pet care hospital, though some veterinarians recommend pet owners and shelters consider more humane options for ailing animals.
We have met the owner that want to postpone as long as the animals can live. We actually have a scale that of the quality of life scale that we will perform, which is the 5H to M scale. The 5H is the hydration, heart, hunger, hygiene, and happiness. 2M means mobility, and does the animal have more good days than the bad days? And if the point is under 35, then I will suggest to do the euthanasia.
As Taiwan's 4-legged residents age alongside their owners and shelters begin reaching capacity, animal lovers will be forced to consider when's the right time to say goodbye. Andy Sher and Reese Ayres for TaiwanPlus.
Football star Lionel Messi has issued a video apology to fans over his absence in a recent friendly match in Hong Kong. The Argentinian reiterated that he was unable to play due to an injury.
Como todos saben, siempre quiero jugar y quiero estar en todos los partidos. Escuché que no había querido jugar por temas políticos y muchas otras cosas que no tienen nada que ver.
The video apology came after Messi's no-show at the sold-out game in early February, sparking significant backlash among fans and Chinese authorities. The anger ramped up when the star played as a substitute in Tokyo just a few days later, prompting China to cancel 2 football games involving Argentina's national team. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, check out this footage of a parade in Paris celebrating the New Year of the Dragon. I'm Sandy Chi, take care and see you next time.